All right, howdy folks. So as you can see, my onions are doing very well, but this is the part of gardening that is my least favorite, even though I don't mind doing it. And I gotta weed this bed. You can see the weeds kind of we had a few rainy days and then several warm days, and that's where these weeds really start to hit from the warm weather. But I'm going to get this weeded, and then we're going to move on to the next bed. All right, so there you have it. One weeded onion bed. Took me about, I don't know, 20-30 minutes maybe. If I didn't have this weed-free landscape fabric on there, it would double my time in the weeding. So usually I keep up with it a little faster, but we've been busy with some side projects and stuff. But you could see we're getting some really good production out of this bed. Let's get on to the next one. So I'm just out here with the dog. Just got done weeding the onion bed. Enjoying a coffee. Just enjoying nature. Listening to the birds. I'm going to hit the carrot bed in a few minutes. Coffee break first. Alright, so this bed is way worse than the other one. But I'm going to tackle it now. We usually don't let them get this bad, but like as I just stated, we had quite a bit of side projects going. But this bed, we did top it off with some rabbit manure, so there was some weed seed in there, which obviously got introduced to the bed here. But we'll weed this out. I'm gonna hit it now, and it shouldn't be bad to maintain after that. Talk for a little bit while I weed. So this is the part of gardening that most people despise. Whether it's they're just lazy or they don't have the ability. Alright, this one here, that's what the squirrels do. Dirty dogs. Or they don't have the ability, or maybe they don't know how, you know, but everybody's so busy with their schedule these days and running the kids to 700 sports. The thing is, if you want good production, you have to take the time to do this stuff. You'll see, like this bed got pretty bad. You'll be able to see, I don't know, I'm not going to move the camera now, but you look in here, you could barely see the carrots. When you get over here, you could see the uniformity and how many carrots we actually have. A lot of them we put multiple seed in each hole, and once I get this main weeding done, maybe tomorrow I'll come in and I'll start thinning these. You want one plant per section, per hole. And at that point, if I need to transplant any, like I have a few spots, either I ripped out the plant by accident during the weeding process, or the weeds overtook it and it never really got to grow, because these weeds will suck the nutrients out of your plant. They always they always come up like right at the base of your plants most of the time. So they will choke out your plants. There's another squirrel nut there. Don't mind my acrobatics doing this weeding. I am pretty short. That's why I don't make too many 4-foot wide beds. But don't be afraid to get in here. If you happen to rip out a carrot by accident, you should have plenty to replenish. But what else is going on here during this weeding process is the soil is getting softened again. And you can see already, see the worms coming up right here? As I'm doing this, the worms are actually exiting the soil and coming up really abundantly. It's one thing, we have very rich soil. The worms love it. That's a good sign. I got these are a pain in the neck. These things root so deep. Look at that. I hate them. I mean, I know there's a lot of gardeners watching this that wish we could either eat the weeds or grow our vegetables as well as the weeds grow. That's a fact. But God made it this way for a reason. Everything has a purpose. Whether we treat it properly or not remains to be seen. I know I'm not perfect. I know I fall short of the glory of the Lord every single day. And I beg for forgiveness. But that's me. But anyway, you need to take the time and weed these beds. Yeah, it sucks. There's two things I despise most. One is weeding and two is weed whacking. I'm not a fan of weed whacking. I do it. A lot of times I have my sons do it. But I used to work in cemeteries, so we used to weed whack for 8 hours straight. A couple days in a row sometimes. So by pulling these weeds that are close to the carrots themselves, it's really softening up the soil. Look at that worm right there. Big one. And the carrots love that loose soil. That's how you're going to grow straight, perfect carrots, by having non-compacted soil. You want loose, rich, good drained soil, which that's why my carrots always do the best in raised beds. Besides, working in the raised bed is easier for me. You know, I still fighting with my back sometimes. Like yesterday, I set up the garden. So here's one I just damaged. Push him down under there. See how it comes back or not. There's another one. Got pulled out probably by a bird or something. Squirrels are pretty destructive. But what was I saying? I forgot my train of thought. The carrots do love non-compacted soils. So like I even take like 4 fingers and I'm not afraid to rip out them roots in between the carrots, even though the carrots are very sensitive at this stage. They're just establishing themselves right now. Which means by doing this, giving them the best start they possibly can. So, and if you're watching this video, I only have 2 more working days. Then I am retired. Yay. Couldn't wait. It's a long time. 20 years of hazardous duty. So, my hats go off to any and all law enforcement, corrections, guys that have to deal with certain stuff. And I'm talking about good officers, not dum-dums out there. I know there's people on power trips and all that, but different story. But all you guys and gals that are working long shifts and in a thankless job, this is the point you want to get to. What all my retired buddies say is the best side of corrections. So this gardening and homesteading, this is something I've done my whole career, my whole life really. And this has been such a great release. You know, after a stressful day, because a lot of things in that job, any law enforcement job, is very stressful. You know, you handle it the best way you can handle it, and you do what you got to do to get through everything. But have a hobby, have some kind of release. Don't just come home and sit around doing nothing. That's how you end up dead. Ooh, I almost got that whole root. But anyway, I appreciate all of you watching. Take a moment, smash the subscribe button, hit the like for me. We got a lot more up our sleeves for the channel. Everything that we do on here is stuff that we would normally do. We don't put on a show for you. We don't stage things. I know a lot of channels, it's almost like watching a TV show these days, but that's not my intention. We are just a homesteading prepared family, and teaching you how we do things. Is my way the only way? Absolutely not. Will my way work for you? Maybe, maybe not. But what I'm doing, this is a culmination of most of my life, and no matter what I'm doing, including this weeding right here, I'm always pushing forward, trying to teach myself how can I be more efficient, how can I do it better, how can I do it easier. So I do lean towards weed-free gardening. Is it 100% weed-free? No, of course not. Weeds find a way into the smallest little holes too. So I think I'm gonna figure out how I can do this bed with weed fabric and still be able to utilize my planting tool that you saw in previous videos. That tool saves me a lot of time that I can spend weeding. Oh, I didn't get that one good. That's a carrot. I just broke a carrot, but hopefully that comes back. If not, I'll transplant one. Sometimes I can't do 2 things at a time. But this bed gets blocked. The sun gets blocked here a lot by our vehicles. I try and move them when we can, but it's not a perfect. I don't have big property here, so I'm doing my best with what I have to work with. and I make good use of my property by utilizing these raised beds. But now that I got this weeded for the most part, I can start to begin to see what I need to do for my next step. So I don't have much more here. Alright, so I'm going to use this broomstick to make a little, about a 1-inch depression in the ground. And I'm going to go all the way down. I already did a few holes. But I'll speed things up because I'm going to do every hole first, and then we'll come back and drop a seed. Alright, so this time I'm going to take a handful of seeds and then my pipe, and I'm going to drop 1 seed in every hole. Alright, just like so. I don't know if you can see the seed drop in there, but with these, I usually get 100% germination, so I'm just dropping 1 seed per hole. Alright, so now I'm just gonna use this tool. This is just a stake tool. It's a magnet, but it's wider than the hole. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna use this to knock the dirt in. This first hole is a little tough here, but knock some dirt in with it and then just give it a light tamp. That's all. Let's try. There we go. Pretty easy. I'm not packing this hard, just lightly. I'm gonna do that to all the holes. All right, that's how I plant my contender green beans. We'll get on with the rest of the video. Alright, so as you can see, we got the landscape fabric on, and I always do plant my green beans quick, but we still got a lot of work to do. The temperatures are still a little bit on the cool side to plant the main garden. You want, warmer soil temperatures and make sure there's no freeze or frost. But here's a little update. You can see the dill. It's growing a little sporadic. I had a couple squirrels digging in here. Got some onions still going. They look decent. I got a weed over there I got to take care of. But the lettuce is starting to take off. That won't take long. And you can see the garlic is really taking off. Looks great. Right here I got my pear tree. That's a grafted tree. It's got 5 different types of pears on there, or 6 actually. And this is the spinach bed. You can see that's doing great.